Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome back to another episode with iTrack. Let me give you a huge shout out to every single one of my subscribers, man. I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody that's been tapping in all across the globe, man. You guys are the real deal. If this is your first time here, what we like to do is take a look at the most interesting and creepy TikToks and kind of evaluate for ourselves whether these are fact or fake. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and without any further ado, let's go ahead and get right into it.
There's this one lady who was having an affair with the mayor of this town. And she was on a news broadcasting show, and she got pregnant, and the wife found out about it. The lady went missing. She was scrubbed from the internet. The wife of the man who was the mayor, who this woman was having an affair with, the wife was the manager of the plastination plant that turns people into statues when they use them for the bodies exhibit. And then months later, a woman with an 8-month-old baby was on display. A woman with a 8-month-old baby on display in her womb. Her proportions exactly match this missing woman. They won't do a DNA test. They won't. Never done that. Standard. This woman was then afterwards. This woman who was the manager of the plastination plant, who was married to the mayor, was arrested for murder, charged, tried. She didn't go to the trial. She had a stand-in go to the trial. So there was a woman who, raised her right hand, did the whole thing, got tried and convicted, who wasn't her.
Whoa.
So I don't know how that works, but I would imagine you bribe the family.
Right. You'd be like, hey, you stand trial for me and we'll give you money.
You're going to be in a nice prison. It's no big deal.
Right.
For 10 years, and we'll give you, more money than you ever made in your life. Crimes
of passion are some of the worst crimes that you might see. I mean, people will do anything over love. I don't think there's a price you can give me. You couldn't name a price. I mean, unless it was like $1 billion. I might sit down for 10 years if you were to give me $1 billion. Let me know in the comments if you can be bought to go to prison.
Living under the sea for 95 days, he not only became 10 years younger physically, his height is also shortened by 0.5 inches. By the end of March 2023, American scientist Diddy lives in an undersea cabin 30 feet underwater. Its entrance is at the bottom. There are no pressure relief facilities in the cabin. Bananas can explode here. Although the cabin is small in size, it contains a work area, bedroom, kitchen, and above-ground windows with sea views. Here, Diddy does research and teaches students every day. He also uses the internet to share videos and give interviews. After ending his underwater life, doctors conducted tests on his body. It was found that the telomere length of his body's cells increased by 20%. Telomeres are genetic sequences at the ends of chromosomes. As we grow older, telomeres gradually shorten, but Diddy increased. Even the number of stem cells increased tenfold. This also means that life under the sea reversed his aging, making him almost 10 years younger. Can living underwater really slow down aging? In fact, it all has to do with high air pressure. The air pressure in an underwater cabin is about 1.6 times than on land. This environment had an effect on him similar to that of a hyperbaric oxygen chamber. Research shows that a number of healthy elderly people received a series of 60 hyperbaric oxygen treatments over 3 months. Physiology becomes younger than one's actual age. So, for longevity, would you like to live in this underwater cabin?
See, I might be down for something like that. I mean, depending on how deep in the ocean we're going, sounds fairly interesting and safe at the same time, Let me know in the comments if that's something you'd be into too.
This is how I always remembered Michael Jackson's voice sounding.
It's a hard situation. It is. And it's something I have to put up with.
But Michael played us. That voice we're used to was one he created for his pop star persona.
You know that voice, Michael Jackson's voice that you hear all the time, that wasn't talking like that. It was low-key deep.
So finally, after a couple of hours, almost the Brazilian officials leave, Spike leaves, and Michael just sitting there with my friend. He said, at a certain point, Michael looked up and said, "Damn, I thought those motherfuckers weren't gonna never leave." Now, and he says, hold up, and he says this not in, "Damn, I don't think these motherfuckers will never leave." He says it like a black man would say, "Damn, I thought the motherfuckers were gonna never leave." Then he got up and walked out. And my friend was saying, he was sitting there like,
There's not many recordings or videos of Michael using his real voice, but there is one. In 1999, Michael allowed Midway to use his likeness and voice in Ready to Rumble Boxing, in which he opted to use his actual voice for his character.
So you be bad, huh? I don't move over for no one. They call me the King of Pop. I'm gonna dance all over you. Don't tango with the King of Pop.
Now that's wild to think that that's Michael's voice in that video game. Like, it's deeper than I've ever heard.
NBA Youngboy did an interview, and it looks like the interviewer got a little too much information out of him, because look at what he says at the end.
He said that music, like in terms of getting paid, it's like the biggest thing, and owning all your art.
Yeah, because it's the mind industry that I chose to be a part of. So it's like I accept that I run with it, but don't be a dumbass at the same time. You gotta understand they're using me as entertainment, and this shit becomes self-destruction too. Because I ain't no entertainer. You know, some shit can't be spoke on. Why? Man, that shit is to be continued.
Is in terms of like every time too much money.
That's when you know there was too much being said. I mean, he didn't have to answer, so he didn't even have to get mad at the interviewer, but you know, he was speaking on some real things, so that's how you know it's real.
This be a giant staring down from the mountain, because this does look familiar, because this is not the first time eyewitnesses have shown something similar. And could this prove that there are giants living among us in secret? And if you do pay attention in the part I circled, it is moving. Or could it just be something resembling some type of giant figure? Now here's the original video in its entirety, and you can find the original video down below.
Oh no, that thing's kind of creepy. It's like a person's silhouette up in them clouds. I'm sorry, if it was your mountain, I'm sorry I broke it.
That was definitely a giant. I mean, what else could that have been?
If your pineal gland is not calcified, all the things you think of, telekinesis, transportation, anything you can think of, you can do. And that's why the elite have to make sure that all these foods are basically damaging our pineal gland. They don't want supermen. They don't want people with super ability. They want to keep us dumb. And you know, I gotta tell you something. You really think these people would be in positions of power if we had our pineal glands working at 100%? They can control us. They use low frequency music. They fucking make people fuck whore. It's all garbage.
From the stuff I researched, apparently fasting is the #1 thing you can do for your conscious brain. The next one was getting sun.
Close your eyes and look at the sun while you're in water. That helps.
Your spirituality taps in so much harder when you're fasting, so I definitely can agree with that for a fact.
Hi, my name is Grant, and this is a 1998 Ford Explorer Sport. Now, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Ford's Explorer line, but they have a reputation of being horrible gas guzzlers. And I can actually attest to that. I did the mileage tests on my truck and found out that I was getting 13.6 miles per gallon highway, which as far as I'm concerned is absolutely unacceptable. Last year alone, I spent $11.4 bajillion on gasoline. Okay, I made that number up, but it sure felt like it. Well, I did something about it, and now I'm getting 56% better gas mileage, which translates to 56% savings in my pocket at the gas pump. How did I do it? My truck is now a water hybrid. Check this out. Well, technically, it's a hydrogen on demand hybrid. What we have here is distilled water with 1 teaspoon of baking soda used as a catalyst. We tickle that water with 12 volts of electricity, and what it does is it separates the hydrogen from the oxygen. That gas is then sent into the combustion chamber, where I was formerly getting a 30% burn. That's right, in all of your gas vehicles, you only get a 30% fuel burn, which translates to 70% of your fuel, of your gas, comes out of your tailpipe. Now, however, I'm getting a 100% burn in my combustion chamber, which means a few benefits. Number one, after a couple hours of running hydrogen, it had blown years of deposits out of my engine. My engine actually idles so quietly in city traffic I can't even hear it. My torque increased, my horsepower increased.
That's wild. I have at least 3 or 4 different people on my channel alone that have figured out a way to bypass using gas and just use water, to power the vehicle. So that's completely amazing. On the other hand, I know you've seen the caption on the top that said, bro went missing. So that, I hope that's not true.
The founder of NASA, which is this deceptive organization that collects billions of dollars from taxpayers every year, was a man by the name of Werner von Braun. Now, this Werner von Braun, he was a German. He was a German engineer who played a prominent role in all aspects of rocketry and space exploration, first in Germany and after World War II in the United States. So it's funny because these engineers came from Germany after World War II and they came to and received prominent positions in the U.S. government.
Prominent positions.
Now, when Werner von Braun died, his tombstone, or his the place where they buried him, has a scripture. And that scripture is Psalms chapter 19 from verse 1. And you know what it says? The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament shows his handiwork. So this guy who's supposedly the head of NASA's space exploration, he knew that the earth is covered with a firmament that is firm.
Masses.
They're deceiving masses. And if you're watching screens, if you have grown up in the heliocentric version of creation, then even this conversation, everything in you is fighting against it because you've been brought up in it to believe that the earth is a globe and that it's moving. And that, I mean, even if you think for yourself, water does not behave that way in a convex. If you put water in a container, it takes the shape of the container. All right. So at what point can water surround a ball on the outside? And then supposedly that ball is spinning, and that ball is spinning through space. And if space is a vacuum, then shouldn't it suck the water from the surface? So how is it possible that, you can't even reconcile some of the suggestions that they're making. And
even if they know the truth, they cannot say it because they have sworn an oath to Jabulon.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. He was trying to put it all together, but I feel like there were some pieces he wasn't including in that whole hypothesis he was breaking down. There's more to it than just the firmament. I mean, there's more things going on. I mean, he was doing his best, but
what a shock. When water is heated to 221, the water freezes, actually. Yes, this is a scientific experiment done by MIT. They first prepared an extremely expensive nanotube, put water into the nanotube, and keep heating. When the water temperature reaches 212, water vapor will gradually be produced. At this time, continue to heat the nanotubes to 221. The form of water gradually changes from water vapor to ice. What has actually happened? It turns out that when the temperature of the water continues to rise, because nanotubes have strong sealing properties, water molecules cannot move. There is no volatilization either. The energy inside it cannot be released. The phenomenon of reorganization of water molecules occurs. Eventually, it formed ice. Of course, this ice is not ice as we know it. It's just a crystal. There is a big difference from ice formed below 32. What do you think about this?
Well, I think he just dropped a whole lot of information for you to marinate on. The more you know.
So humming increases that nitric oxide 15-fold. And there was one study that showed this guy completely got rid of his rhinitis just by humming for about 10 minutes, 4 times a day. The humming also helps to calm the body down because we have the vagal nerve, right? Vagus nerve, vagal tone is right along here. So when you hum, you're sending signals to the vagus nerve and you're calming your body down. Humming is stimulating more nitric oxide and allowing it to break free from all of those tissues.
So you hum in your nose like, Exploring an abandoned church in Ohio when this was...
I guess that explains a lot why every time I see somebody humming they're never mad. I only see happy people humming. So that could explain a whole lot.
Exploring an abandoned church in Ohio when this was captured.
crazy. No, I heard the piano. What the f? Oh, yeah.
Oh no, see, he wasn't moving fast enough. I'd have been out of there like Usain Bolt.
I've got some videos of portals opening in the sky all over the world, Booskies.
Portals are opening up all over the world now, huh? All right, so I, gotta keep my eyes peeled for that. You gotta love the cheesehead.
Referees, that's why I was just saying, as I got older, I didn't have to do all the cussing or come with attitudes. No, I'm just hitting them with logic now. Like, oh, so y'all got that email last night, huh? Oh, then they flare all up. What are you talking about? Oh yeah, I know about y'all email shits. No, let's not forget that. I know about that. Man, look, it's been an ongoing
you're
war.
referring to emails from the league with, this is what we discussed in Whistleblower, but emails from the league that are telling the referees to officiate the game in a certain way and against certain players.
Yeah.
And so you were cognizant of that at the time.
Oh yeah, I was very, because to me, I saw it. And he'll tell you what I always used to say, y'all making it too obvious.
I thought he was crazy.
Y'all making it too obvious, too blatant. Y'all making it too obvious. I said, y'all want the fans to be able to watch the games, but y'all sitting up here calling a lot of these bullshit calls is doing what? Slowing down the game. Y'all want the fans to see the dunks and all that shit. Yeah. So call that shit both ways or don't call that shit at all.
I've been hearing more and more about, NBA being rigged and, NFL being rigged and stuff like that. Not to say that it can happen, but I do know there are a lot of sports bettors that are becoming millionaires. Like it's just popping up more and more lately. That cloaking technology started to wear off, and somewhere across the world, that spaceship got caught slipping. I'm sure it'll be more of that.
When you had your future human contact experience, what was communicated to you?
Well, it's interesting you asked that specifically because it was an intervention. I didn't tell anybody this. Yeah. I was washing dishes at my sink, my wife's sitting on the couch, and I just thought, I'm tired. I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
I just want to get this last book done, and just kind of slowly back away from all of these conversations. I was traveling a lot, conferences, TV shoots. I was exhausted.
From the UFO topic
UFO topic.
Yeah,
I mean, I wasn't like gonna go blow my brains out in a closet or something. Like, I was tired of this.
I've had that experience many times.
You feel it. It's taxing. Yeah. So, yeah, and I didn't tell anybody. I thought about telling my wife. I thought about being, you know what, I didn't tell her. I didn't say anything to anyone. When they approached me physically, face to face, this individual, there were two individuals present. One pulls up a chair so close that his knee goes into my crotch, and I have a very strong fight or flight response. So it was very much fight. And he looks at me in the eyes and says, I can tell you're very upset about this, but I need to be this close for this to work. And all of a sudden, happiness returns. Next thing he said is what got in my head a little. He said, actually, he's not the right pronoun. They. It's all they. That's the only pronoun they ever use, we and they. There's never a sense of ego or individualism at all. In fact, I came away with this with no sense of ego, or at least a very diminished form of it. But they said, we know you've been thinking about quitting lately, and we'd really prefer you didn't do that. And I said, how could you possibly know that? I never told anybody that. I never even spoke those words out loud. It was a thought in my head. And they said, once you know who we are, you'll know how we know that. And then telepathically, I communicated future humans. And they said, so you know how we did that? And I said, uh-huh. And then the conversation went in a lot of different directions. The vast majority of it was entirely telepathic. At some point, we just stopped using vocalized speech. And even though there were two individuals, all of the voices were the same voices. And this is the thing that blows my mind the most. And I remember Terry Lovelace talking about this when he met Betty Rubble. He just heard her voice in his head in the same voice. If you're not articulating something, it's not vibrating your malleus, incus, and stapes to send the signal. Why does it still sound like that individual? It's mind-blowing. But the three of us are communicating telepathically over the course of, I would guess, another 10, 15 minutes. A lot of other things are exchanged. I had questions, they had questions. But the main point of it was that they wanted, if I was okay with it, they're very polite, extremely polite. If I was okay with it, they said, we'll black your eyes out and give you 3 things that will be important at a future time.
What were they?
I don't have access to it. They told me I wouldn't have access to it. They said, we need to put this information in your brain if you're okay with it. And by this point, it was very clear who they were, their abilities, hive mind consciousness, interacting in this way. I trusted them and also realized that in various ways I had been interacting with them the whole time. That little voice in my head when I changed majors, a conversation they referenced right before I went to a conference at Rice University, where I thought it was just all in my mind. They referenced that conversation that we had just prior to me going to this conference. So I agreed, and that's exactly what happened. My eyes went black. I'm still staring at the same individual. In fact, by this point, it got very difficult to turn my head. I was kind of just mesmerized. I think that's the word some use. My eyes went black, and all of a sudden, I feel all of this information coming in my brain. And the other individual standing to my left occasionally would say, did you get that? Did you get that? I'm like, uh-huh. And I can see it coming in. I have no idea what it is.
Wow.
It's in there.
Yeah.
I can't access it. I agreed to have it put
there. It's like you were partitioned or something.
Yeah, maybe. But what's crazy is the reaction. This was at the beginning of the conference. There's a lot going on. There's a party, Halloween party. Some of my best friends from the UFO community are there. We're going to jam tunes, play music. Yeah. Been wanting to play Travis Walton's guitar with Micah Hanks for all this time. And I stood up. Once they released me from this, slowly I could see this individual again, or them, in this manifested form. I turn, I get up, I walk through what's now a very crowded room of people from this balcony. A woman puts her hand on my arm and says, are you okay? And I was going, like I couldn't lift my head. It felt like it was a 50-pound weight tied to my forehead. I walk out of the VIP room where this had happened on the balcony, down to my room, which is about 5 doors away.
Where is all of this?
At a conference hotel in Phoenix. Almost exactly 1 year ago.
Yeah.
Lay down on the bed, lay down backwards, feet still on the ground, and slept for 13 hours straight. Wow. Wake up, still with my feet on the ground, still with all my clothes on, and just started crying uncontrollably. Wow. Not because I was happy, sad, confused, nothing. Like whatever happened.
Did it feel cathartic? Did you feel like you were letting out pain or anything?
It was I just couldn't control it. Interesting. I cried for hours. I had to be on a panel the next day with a bunch of people.
How was that?
Fine, because I controlled the crying. I went and got breakfast. Unfortunately, it was sat right by the cash register where all of these people gather for their Sunday brunch. And I'm just losing my goddamn mind at this point. And there's all these people coming, walking. I was hoping to be like back in a corner or something. Didn't get that. Come back to my room, still crying. Go down to give a book to an individual who was working at the registration table. And all of a sudden, the same individual kind of materializes in this empty hallway, walks past me, put his hand on my shoulder and says, are you okay? I go, uh-huh. That's all I could say, uh-huh. And all of the time this is happening is, uh-huh. Like I'm processing, I'm doing what I'm supposed to, I'm getting the information.
The individual's name or?
Yeah. I know both of their names. But again, these aren't, this is what I mean when we talk about reconceptualizing what it means to be human.
Yeah.
It's not as simple as who is this individual.
You think of them as
I wasn't talking to that individual.
They're generic emissaries.
I was talking to the same they that knows my thoughts enough to reference 2 very specific moments of interaction. Or one wasn't. I was just thinking, I don't want to do this anymore as I'm washing my damn dishes. They knew that thought.
Yeah.
So we're not talking about individuals, but that individual who's a part of this reappeared as I'm walking through this hallway, takes that residual, whatever it was. Again, it wasn't negative. I wasn't scared by this. I wasn't upset by it. I just couldn't stop crying. But I needed to because I was on an important panel about 2 or 3 hours later.
Yeah.
So it was an effort to sort of quell the ontological shock. If there was a part of that, it's hard to say there wasn't.
Now that's pretty creepy. I mean, I can only imagine what exactly he went through. Even though he explained it, it sounded like it was deeper than any kind of trip you could take if you were using like acid or mushrooms or something like that, you know, things of that nature. You know, let me know in the comments what you think he was going through or what you think he experienced.
We in the studio, and this girl in the studio, and she's singing, but the girl is Cassie at the time. I don't really know what's going on. I just know she's a big singer. I'm not a musician. I'm not a music guy at this time. I'm not into music. I'm just there with Shy, literally make sure Shy all right. I know like the popping people. While they been telling us like before we even get to the studio with him and Cassie in the studio, Wale was already telling us like, man, we better go to the studio with Cassie. Man, Diddy be acting crazy over her. Diddy don't want nobody working around her, so y'all make sure y'all don't look at her too wild or make her feel uncomfortable. Or if you see her security guards and her security guards with her, just prepping us on how crazy Diddy act over her. Like any guys that's around her in her vicinity, while Diddy not around, he kirks off, he goes off. We make it through the session. We probably like an hour in the session, like an hour into the session, maybe 2. Her and Wale doing what they do in the studio, but they helping each other. It's just professional, y'all. It ain't nothing like, they ain't doing nothing weird. I don't feel no weird vibes. I don't see no flirting or nothing. It's really professional. They making good music. So I'm off, not paying no attention. I've been heard what he told me before we walk in here about Diddy be tripping, but I'm just thinking like Diddy be tripping. I swear to God, y'all, Diddy and his security guards walked through this room. I told y'all. But I don't know. I guess they weren't supposed to be there doing it in person together. They were supposed to send it or whatever, but they was trying to keep and do it in person together because they ain't thinking Diddy gonna pop up in here. Like, Diddy probably somewhere living his natural born life. At least that's what they thought. I swear, y'all, Diddy got like little secret people that follow her places. Like when she go in little restaurants, like his girlfriends, like he keep eyes on to see who they cheating on. Like he that crazy. It's some obsessive Diddy. Like it's crazy. The world know about it though. Like the crazy parties, Diddy be crazy over them girls. Like super duper stalking. Like he be having private investigators following him. Just can't go around and he very controlling. I swear to God. So that's what the vibe is. So Diddy walks in. Diddy walk in, Wale and him in the bathroom. Wale and the girl in the booth, but they doing the music part. Me and Shy over here. I don't know it's Diddy who walked in. I just see these big in black, like it's a black sweatsuit and a hat. I can't really see who it is, but I know it's another celebrity important person because this room only important people walking in this room. This ain't even no type of room you can get in unless you're an important person. But he came in with aggression. They moving. But I seen security guards with him, so I knew it wasn't nothing for us. Like it was no threat to us or me or Shy. It was like control because they had to get in. They had to go through all this so you know it's somebody. And then I looked. It was like a glance once he got a little bit past me. I'm like, damn, that's Diddy. I ain't say nothing. I looked at Shy. Shy looked at me. I was not about to run in there. First of all, I'm here with Shy. I'm just not about to run in there and say Wale and be like, Wale, Diddy come like that. I would have died. Like that's out of my control. First of all, this Puff Daddy. I promise you. I don't know what gangsta I do in the street. Uncle Buck, this is off my list. This is off my radar right here. I can't do nothing with this. I'm gonna stand down. So man, Shy like, oh. So as they go in there, they go back there, but they shut the door. It's a blind. All right, it's a studio part, the booth part. It's like a blind back there. Like it's a pop. All right. They do orchestra back there. So with a booth at, it's like an orchestra, like a church show. You can open it and you can see in the studio where they record, or you can shut it. Like don't y'all ever been to a graduation in the blind shut? You can shut the blinds and you can't even see back there. Diddy and them went back there and shut the blinds. All I heard was a rock, but not punches, like shit, like moving around, tables and shit. But I'm like, oh. So me and Shy run to the blinds. We peeping through the blinds. I'm peeping through the blinds. Shy peeping through the blinds. I swear for God, it's a balcony in the studio, like an out balcony. You can see over the back. I swear to God, my grandmother, they got Wale over top of his feet. They got him off his feet, hanging off the balcony. Like, he hanging off the balcony. They dangling by his feet. I can't really hear what they saying. I'm like, Shy, man, be quiet. Shy don't know what's going on. First of all, Shy can go back and help Wale. This is man. He can go back to Shy and he must move. I swear to God. Shy like, like, man, what they doing? I said, man, they got him over the boundary by his feet. They're like, man, no, he don't. That ain't him. Like, show that is him. We knew it was him because we know what type of shoes Wale wore to the studio, and we seen them jump up in the air. So who put on Wale's shoes? Nobody. That was Wale's feet over there. So boom. So I'm like, Mo, what the hell is going on? But Wale had already hipped us to this, that Diddy is crazy about this Cassie girl and nobody could be around her, this, that, and the third.
I'm telling you, you won't hear any wilder stories than the ones that have to deal with the crimes of passion. Well, you guys, that's another one in the books. I appreciate you guys for stopping by yet again and watching another one with me, especially on this Turkey Day. If you haven't already, go ahead and smash the like button, smash the subscribe button, and I will definitely catch you on the next one.